You don't know what's out there.
That's why I would go.
Hi, and welcome back to Wild Dream, where we give you the freshest takes on the latest movies. My name is David.
And my name's Agent Daniel.
And this is part one of the Blockbuster Summer Movie Extravaganza.
We should have went over that before we did it.
I thought you knew this.
Check, please. Clean up an aisle, me. I came my pants.
I'll have what she's having.
It's not even action.
Not an action movie line.
You had me at hello.
That's right. We are here to review the first episode, the first movie of the Summer Blockbuster series. Now, technically, Summer Blockbuster series started last week when we did our top 5, bottom 5 action movies. We hope that you guys have listened to that already. And if you haven't, go listen to it. And if you have, still go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt you to listen to the episode more than once.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Be a real fan.
I know. But this week, we are here to give you guys a deep and well thought out and really critical,
so deep.
analytical commentary about the significant social and political impact that is Bad Boys, Ride or Die. I couldn't remember what the tag. Yes, Ride or Die. Ride or Die is the tag. Like, I don't even know which Bad Boys this one is in the Bad Boys cinematic universe. I don't know. Like, is there? I know Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2. Like, those are famous. Is there a third Bad Boys? I don't know.
I don't know either. I actually don't think I've seen any of the Bad Boys until I don't think I've seen the first 2, 3,
question mark?
4?
Guys, write into us. Tell us how many Bad Boys you think there are.
We'll find out in part 2, I'm sure.
I'm sure we will. Yeah.
So this is I believe this is my first Bad Boys actually watching it. So this is that. Do you want to before we get into reviewing this? We also got to try some new AMC exclusives.
New AMC exclusives. Hey guys, listen. For all of our fans back in Texas, especially our Dallas boys and our Dallas girls and our Dallas non-binaries.
Nice.
We're sorry about the influence of Wild Dream closing down all of your Alamo draft houses. This was not our intention. Now, when we said boycott Alamo Draft House, don't ever go to them again, fuck those guys, we didn't realize that it would just be so detrimental to the industry,
We underestimated our reach. We underestimated our influence. And I would like to, as a co-host, obviously, I would just like to say personally, I apologize. I am sorry. It does break my heart, especially, because we said boycott Alamo Draft House because they were absolute fucking dicks to us. But I didn't have a problem with the Dallas ones. They were never mean to me.
Now, as the other co-host, I would also like to say, let this be a warning. Let this be a warning. I'm not saying that this was our intended result, but maybe don't ever mess with us ever again.
Ever thought of that?
Maybe
they treat us with respect and kindness and maybe
and understanding.
If you're 1 minute late to a noon o'clock showtime that has about 2 other people in it, maybe just let them go in. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's okay. Ever thought of that?
And maybe when I say, I'm waiting for someone, and if they're not allowed in, I'm not going to come here, don't make them swipe their credit card to start a tab.
Yeah, maybe that's weird. Maybe when you say, I'm not getting anything, I'm good, and you're like, we still need your card. Hey.
You're going to close a couple stores.
You're going to close a couple stores with that, okay? But I do apologize to everyone who lost their job. That is horrible.
Yes, I am very sorry about that. And actually, we loved Alamo Draft House until that instance. And
that's true.
It was very heartbreaking that we had to boycott them, and very heartbreaking to hear that other theaters that we grew up with are closed. But hey, if you're out there and you're looking for a job, check out AMC. They're pretty great.
They've
been treating us real well, except for that one time that guy tried to fight us and the manager didn't do anything about it. Anyways,
other than that,
are we the problem?
we are the problem.
Wait, are we the baddies?
Are we the baddies?
But yes, AMC did have some new drops. All right, including the new donut holes. Now, listen, there's 3 flavors. I only got 2 of them. I got the strawberry and the peanut butter. The peanut butter was pretty good. The strawberry just tasted like sugar. But, you know, you try them together, it's basically a PB&J. So I thought it was a great contrast to the popcorn, the salty, sweet popcorn. So it was pretty nice. And Daniel, you get to try something brand new, too.
I did try something new. So they have a new peach Coke Zero. And so I mixed half and half peach Coke Zero and Coke Zero cream soda. Peaches and cream, folks. Peaches and cream, folks. We're we're so on peaches. We love the cream. We love the cream, and we love the cream a lot. It was not very good. Now here's the thing.
Darn.
I love like cream soda on its own is not the best to me. But cream soda with the Dr. Pepper, I'm like, oh, I fuck with that.
Yeah.
Cream soda with the Coke, I'm like, yeah, I fuck with that, dude.
So maybe you should have gotten the cream soda and the Mr. Pibb.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is all AMC has because Coke is a fucking pussy. They don't want to work with Dr. Pepper.
Guys, that's what sucks is my hottest take is I actually like Mr. Pibb more than Dr. Pepper. Just standard Dr. Pepper versus standard. Okay, I'm getting ushered off the stage.
Brother, this guy stinks!
Getting ushered off the stage.
Fuck you! Fuck you, dude! Anyways, go ahead.
So, Bad Boys, Ride or Die. Bad Boys, Ride or Die. How are you feeling, Dave? Spoiler-free thoughts. Let's get into the action.
So, spoiler-free talk. First, spoiler. Spoiler-free spoiler. Is that fair?
Spoiler-free spoiler.
This is a spoiler-free spoiler. But I think if you're someone who listens to spoiler-free talk, you're going to want to know this if you're planning on seeing this movie. You do not have to watch the other Bad Boys to watch this one.
That's a great spoiler-free spoiler.
They will recap kind of what's happened in the other ones enough to where you'll know who is important and who's not.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like watching an episode of TV. Like you just hop in. It's the way that it's structured.
But yeah, they will recap enough for you. So I was really appreciative of that because I have seen at least Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2, but I'm talking like 10 plus years ago while it was on FX while I was like on my phone.
How old are those movies? I mean, they referenced 2003.
Yeah, they specifically referenced 2003. I mean, you would know when Bad Boys. I mean, if anyone knows when Bad Boys came out, Daniel would know. Yeah, if that's something that's a concern for you, it's not a worry. I wasn't confused at all, even though I don't remember. I remember stuff about the movies, but I don't remember the plot of them at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't remember,
right?
Like to that degree. So yeah, this one is pleasantly surprising. I thought this movie was going to be just the worst piece of fucking dog shit. Oh my God, here we go again with old actors who want to do another action movie, and this is I'm 2 weeks from retirement. Fucking Bruce Willis and Sylvester Stallone bullshit.
Yeah, didn't we? We just recently talked in our top 5, bottom 5 about like the idea of the Mortal Kombat of that 2020 era when it was like, wait, we still have the rights to this,
right?
Like it felt like it was going to be just one of those.
Yeah, it was like, hey, let's just sell this movie because the name, like people remember Bad Boys and they'll go watch it because the name of the Bad Boys, and we really need to Will Smith to not exclusively be remembered for Get My Wife's Name Out of Your Mouth for the rest of his life. Which, by the way, sorry, buddy, that's not ever going to happen.
Yeah,
you did this to yourself.
You fucked yourself, pal.
You fucked yourself over. My generation knew you as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and now everyone who is under my age knows you as the Get My Wife's Name Out of Your Mouth guy.
Yeah. Yes.
People don't even remember that he won the Oscar that night.
It was pleasantly surprising. Now, it is really bad. It is a really bad movie. It's not the worst action movie, though. It's just not the worst. It is a really bad movie, though. I mean, the first 20 minutes of this movie are insufferable. Oh, man. The whole first act. Yeah, like from the beginning of the movie to the inciting incident is just atrocious. Yeah, awful, awful, awful. There's one really big lull point in the middle of the movie from the trailer. But then other than that, it's like actually just like turn your brain off and enjoy some action and guns and explosions and a couple of comedy bits here and there, which I was surprised at how much I laughed during this movie as well.
Yeah, okay, and let me touch on that too. I'm surprised by how much I genuinely laughed at this movie as well. But I want to make it clear that I was surprised by that because I was surprised that it was more than 0%.
Yeah.
Like, I was not expecting to find this movie funny at all. And the fact that there were like 1 or 2, maybe 3 moments in the 2 hours of this movie that did make me laugh, I was like, oh, pretty nice. Yeah. And it's interesting because I was talking to Daniel about this.
Hi, Daniel. Aforementioned Daniel.
Yeah. Aforementioned Daniel. We were talking a little bit after the movie, and I was like, it's interesting to think about these 2 guys who are like legends in the sitcom world. And the thing is that most sitcom humor is not that great. If you go back and watch some of those Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episodes, you're like, this show's not as funny as I remember. I do think that Martin is funnier. But anyways, my point is that I'm interested to know what they thought was really funny and if it aligned at all with what I thought was really funny. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of moments where they're just really hammering the, attempts at comedy that just don't land for me. There was like one moment of really good physical comedy that I'm excited to talk about in spoiler talk. But yeah, the action was really good. And here's something that was a little bit refreshing in terms of an action movie. It was nice to see an action movie that wasn't a John Wick level of action movie where everyone is just like elite sniper gods, where they're just like bing, bang, boom, and they just kill everybody in the room.
And kung fu masters. And I see what you mean.
Except for that one
guy. I think the thing I appreciated about the action the most was the ability to be a little inventive with it and to just go over the top in like a fun way. Like there was a couple of moments that actually surprised me. I was like, oh shit, they really went there. And then there's like one scene that reminded me of Fast and Furious where it's like the whole time I couldn't help but focus on the fact that the logic of science did not make sense of what was happening. So that was one that suffered because I just couldn't stop thinking about how there's no way this would be possible. But other than that, it's like over the top for the sake of actual entertainment, and it works and it's fun and it's silly. And again, it's just a turn your brain off movie. It's like, it's honestly like, I think too, it benefited from when I watched it because it's been a long week and I just like want.
Yeah, this was a good time to turn our brains off for sure.
Yes. So it was like perfect timing and I had a lot of fun with it. Again, I think it's a really bad movie, but I think it is not that bad of an action movie. So.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's how these things go. You guys know the Blockbuster series. We're not trying to be. That's why I made the joke at the beginning. It's like we're not trying to be critical, analytical, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
hold on. You were spit critical, analytical. Talk some shit, send your ass to the hospital. That's an obstacle. I'll eat a popsicle.
Yeah, I mean, we're not here to do that. This is the Summer Blockbuster series. We're here to have fun. And we know that, sometimes it's fun to shit on movies and we come in here and we talk about how bad everything was and every little piece of that. And that's not what the Summer Blockbuster series is about. It's about, let's talk about action movies. Let's talk about this genre of movie that we're not supposed to take seriously. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this movie was fucking horrible. It's just as, bad as I thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
But that's what these movies are. So, with that said, I think I'm ready to get into spoiler talk.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into spoiler talk.
Bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they spoil you? Bad boys. Woo! What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
When they spoil you. Wait, you all right?
Yeah, everyone just died.
Oh, dude. Spoiler alert. Bad Boys Ride or Die is about the following. When their former captain is implicated in corruption, 2 Miami police officers have to work to clear his name.
Yeah, it is what the trailer said. You see them promoting this movie with Jimmy Butler during the finals? How dare they?
Yes, actually. What the hell? I saw that yesterday before the game, and I was like, this is so awkward.
First of all, I just want to say this for the rest of forever. Don't use NBA players to do any form of performance or acting or be on camera for anything ever.
Why not? They're always so good.
Right.
Come on, man. You're telling me you don't do this and that? Ugh, typical you. I don't even want it.
Right. These guys no brain. They play basketball and that's it.
What? I just won the lottery? Wow, this is going to change a lot.
Well, there's even because here's the thing. Like,
I love doing stiff
there's been
athlete acting.
a couple of like ones who have been decent. You know, Blake Griffin's done an okay commercial thing when he was relevant. Chris Paul's fine. And whatever. But then like there's like the one with the Lopez brothers, and they're like, I'm like, oh, we're gonna pretend like you guys aren't actual fucking monsters. 2 7-foot twins.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm's there.
That's my older brother. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's so true. That is such an unsettling commercial.
Anyways, Bad Boys, Ride or Die.
Bad Boys, Ride or Die.
We swear we're gonna review this movie, guys.
We are gonna eventually do it, but before we do, so okay, no, just kidding.
So let's talk about this movie from opening to inciting. Well, let's start with this. Let's talk about opening. From opening to title card. It is the scene from the trailer where Martin Lawrence. They're going to be Martin Lawrence and Will Smith the whole fucking episode. Get used to it.
Get used to it.
I'm pretty sure one of their names is like Lawrence, and it's not.
Literally right now, I don't remember either of their names in the movie.
Yeah, I don't, dude. Anyways, that's just that sorry, guys. We turned our brains off for 2 hours for you guys. Turning them back on ain't that easy.
I'm willing to bet when I go back and listen, if I were to go back and listen to Fast X episode, pretty sure we said Vin Diesel 50% of the time instead of Dom, and then I'm pretty sure we said Jason Momoa 100% of the time. And and if The Rock was in it, there's zero chance.
There's an absolutely
zero.
There's a whole movie with that character's name as part of the name, and there is a 0% chance.
Zero.
We said fucking Hobbs.
Right. Like there's like there might have been 99% The Rock and maybe 1% Dwayne. But it ain't gonna be as good.
Might have said Rock and The Rock, but there's no. Okay, so Will Smith, Martin Lawrence. All right, here we go. This is the scene where Martin Lawrence is going into the gas station to get some things, and he's not supposed to get anything other than one thing
because he's old now and he can't be eating bad because it's unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this movie is we're like it's like the old days, except we're old now.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is from the trailer. There's a guy there with a gun, which is just like the most casual, not even wearing a mask.
I'm about to say no disguise.
Conceal himself. When he realizes that people aren't going to cooperate, he doesn't even try to pull the trigger. Also, has like a 357 Magnum.
Yeah,
like
one of the biggest guns I've ever seen in my life.
And just like, this is so silly right off the bat. But then, of course, they do have one joke that I thought was kind of funny when he's looking at the hot dogs. He goes, "Those hot dogs fresh?" And he goes, "I put them on yesterday." He goes, "Ooh." And I was like, okay, this fucking pig. And then Will Smith comes in and he shoots the guy in the leg and they're like, "Call the cops." He's like, "I thought y'all were the cops. How'd you know that?"
That was my question. I was like, how'd you know that? Neither of them identified themselves at any point.
Yeah. It was just another group of people coming in with guns to shoot someone else. How did you know they were cops? Anyways, there's no identifying factor that makes them look or feel like cops.
But guys, we hate it when people analyze movies like really serious.
This is supposed to turn your brain off.
We're 2 minutes in. This makes no sense. I want to mention too, even before opening scene, how many production companies were a part of this?
Oh yeah, there's like 14 production companies.
Dude, so many. There was a Bruckheimer. There was Columbia. Bruckheimer. There was like 3 more that I don't remember. Like, holy shit, a lot of money from a lot of different places to make this movie.
Yeah, also the actual opening scene is city skyline, beach, girls in bikinis, beach, and Miami music playing. And Miami music
copyrighted song.
Yeah, copyrighted song, Miami music, city skyline. cut to we're in a fast moving car.
Yes.
So in case you didn't know if this was going to be part of the fucking Blockbuster Summer Series, it literally looks like the fake logo that we made for the Blockbuster series.
Exactly. The amount of lens flares. The movie felt like it was filmed on cameras from today that are very high quality, but filmed completely like it was made in 2003, everything else.
Yeah.
The amount of fucking cuts in this movie would drive Timothy insane.
Yeah.
It does not give anything a time to breathe.
Yes.
I mean,
so let me
fast cut. I mean,
yes,
insane.
and I know that we don't like analyzing movies like this.
We really don't.
We really don't. But the amount of like just stock footage with cut for like the first minute of the movie before we even get introduced to the two main characters. Like I just thought that shit was so funny.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, here we go, man.
But the whole movie is scene, B-roll of skyline, scene.
Yeah, they don't know how to
B-roll of the
transition
beach,
without
scene, B-roll of the skyline.
It felt like they paid a lot of money for this skyline B-roll.
It did, because they used it over and over with the time lapse of the clouds. Oh man,
yeah,
it was really obnoxious. It was really funny though. Like it was like legit funny.
Every time they were like, "Oh shit, we shot that next scene that happens right after that. We shot that at night."
Yeah.
We did? Oh my God, we got to put in the B-roll of the sunset.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the amount too, like the amount of circling cameras gave me a headache in this movie as well. They love.
Yeah. And I think this is something that's worth mentioning. We know already that this movie was directed by two people, and it shows. Like there are moments of the movie that just feel completely out of place entirely. And it's so weird. But yeah, the movie, like as a whole, like it plays like a early 2000s action movie. Like
very much so.
Very much a Fast and Furious-esque, a Bad Boys 1 and 2-esque movie.
Yeah.
The plot is just bad guys, good guys.
Yeah, these bad guys got secret intelligence about the... What? We need to fix that.
We need to expose them for being bad and arrest them. Okay, because we're the cops.
And at a certain point, we're going to be pointed out to be the bad guys, and that's going to be an issue that we're going to have to overcome, but we will overcome it.
Because we're good guys.
Because we're good guys, actually, and we're going to prove it.
But yeah, so the opening sequence, the opening from the beginning of the movie to the inciting incident, here's what happens. Will Smith is getting married, and you better keep his wife's name out your fucking mouth.
It was a little weird, right? Because as they're giving their vows and stuff, the wife is like... Baby, I love you so much. I appreciate you. I love the fact that you stand up for me, that you protect me. Like, it was like, I feel like he wrote some fan fiction here.
Bro, every single scene of them two just felt like Will Smith going, hey, can we just please have a scene where she like loves me and cares about me?
I swear to God.
I just have a woman look me in the eyes and tell me that she loves me. Anyways.
No, it did feel kind of sad sometimes where I was just like seeing too much through the character and to the reality of what we know.
Yeah, they have a whole scene that's quote unquote scene that's just shots of them sitting she's sitting in his lap and they're just looking at the ocean and that's like the whole thing.
The amount
and it doesn't matter at all. Yeah. I'm just like, he really was like, God, I was like, I just picture him like, I don't think we got it. I think we should shoot it again. I don't know.
Well, let's get a lot of this footage in case we need to like splice it in anywhere.
And
so film us for a while.
Well, like I've actually been in the industry for like a long time. So if y'all just want to like send me everything y'all didn't use, and I'll just like have that.
I could just have that. Yeah. Which that brings up another thing too, is like the amount of, just to knock this out, the amount of unnecessary footage and scenes in this movie is hilarious.
It's very funny. You guys have to watch it just to see. It is very funny.
Multiple times we were like, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Just like what I just mentioned. Like it's just a shot. Like what context? None. There's none. It's a scene transition. Just them sitting together watching the sunset.
And it's kind of like you talked about with two separate directors really showing, because the tone shift from this like Miami, lens flares, Dutch angles, fast cuts, sped up footage, and then it's like dreamlike. It's just like literally dreamlike, them barely out of focus, sitting on the beach.
Exactly.
Like, okay.
Yeah. So this opening sequence, I swear we're going to talk about it, guys. It is, here's everything that happens, okay? But then we have to tell you about what it looks like, okay? Martin Lawrence is at his wedding, is at Will Smith's wedding, and he has a heart attack while he's dancing. He then dies And while he is dead, he sees his former captain. His former captain says it's not your time yet. And then he is revived. He comes out of like a coma, essentially. And then he feels like he's invincible, like he can't die now. There is a shot of Martin Lawrence where he is outside in with a hospital gown on, and there is a point where it flaps open and it's so obviously a body double for his ass. And I was like, you fucking coward. Because it's like a 20-year-old's ass. There's no shot that's Martin Lawrence's ass.
Yeah, absolute dump truck.
Yeah, because when they initially come up to him, when he has to turn around and talk to him, it's completely covered. Yeah. And we're like, okay, we know why, because you're a coward. But yeah, and then they do it, and I'm like, this is a body double. What the fuck is this?
It reminded me of the body double bit from They Came Together.
So why is this all significant? Because the sequence of Martin Lawrence dying felt like if you were to combine like someone whose like favorite movie is The Tree of Life and someone whose favorite movie is Fast and Furious X, and they were like, let's do a sequence of a movie together.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It was like extremely high quality, insane editing, CGI, deep thought provoking, like
visual
poetry of him dying, but like for Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Right.
And then literally it's this insane sequence with like very ethereal music and chants in the back, and so you get this really dreamlike, like just crazy void purgatory type thing. And there's a tree, and his dead captain talks to him. He sinks into a lake deeper and deeper, kind of a Get Out-esque in terms of the shot composition. Just sinks in.
And he sees his entire life.
Flash before his eyes, memories from back then, stuff that hasn't happened
Footage
yet.
of Bad Boys 1 and 2.
Yeah. And then just like, so it's like, and it's all really dark blue light. It's like really, and then he wakes up, and then they start playing like, whoop to the gasoline.
Yeah, immediately he wakes up and he's just like, I
get it. Yeah, it was just,
I was
so
just like,
odd.
what is happening right now?
Me and Dave were laughing at the absurdity of it. We were like, what the fuck was that?
It is like one of those things where it was the first time in the movie that I went, I that's kind of cool. I don't know why it's in this movie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the first time that I thought that. That happened a couple of different times where I was like, this is pretty cool. Why is it in this movie?
Yeah. Where did this come from?
Yeah. Like, who did this? I don't understand. But yeah, so it is definitely a very strange thing, but it does kind of set the tone. But it really was just like when you have like this, forced attempt at comedy, with the gas station scene, where in that whole sequence, like I mentioned that joke that I chuckled at, and it was like there's like 42 other jokes, quote unquote, in that scene. And then, they go and they do that whole wedding sequence, which is cringe because of the Will Smith and, all that stuff. And then, all that. It's just like, by the time we're getting to the actual inciting incident, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a movie. There's just stuff is gonna happen.
I mean, honestly, like my thought, like one of my genuine first thought when we left the theater was that movie was fucking weird. Just weird. It's just so
very weird.
It feels like a Frankenstein movie. Like that's why when we were like, oh, it's by two directors, it's like, oh, that showed.
Yeah, they weren't directing at the same time.
Yeah, it feels like...
It was like, I'm on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays.
We have joint custody right now. We're,
right. And then we're both off on Sunday. We're both off. Do not contact us on Sundays. We're both off on Sundays.
We stand with Chick-fil-A.
Weird stance.
Not in June.
Sorry about the racism. I really had no idea that it was going on.
The rest of this movie... It kind of goes like this, okay? You guys, if you guys weren't here on the Blockbuster series last year, this is kind of how we do it. We're going to tell you guys what the plot of the movie is, and then we're going to just talk about the things that we like, didn't like, the parts that we... So it's not very chronological. And part of the reason why we do this for this series is, one, because we would actually rather die than talk about these movies scene for scene.
Yeah.
And B, because these movies are so long. that we can't.
For no reason.
Yeah, we can't. Usually our episodes, it's not uncommon for our episodes to be longer than the movie.
Yes.
We cannot afford to do that for 4 or 5 weeks straight.
Summer Blockbuster is about turning your brain off and having an easygoing experience in the theater. So we want to make sure that for you, our listeners, we want you to be able to turn your brain off a little bit and just go with the flow.
And also, don't forget, we also turned our brain off, so going through chronologically is not going to go very well for us.
Also true.
So
I'm delirious.
here's what the plot of this movie is. Their former captain is framed by other police members of being a massive cartel shill, right? And they are like, there's no way he did this. And the only way they can prove that he didn't do this is by getting a testimony from Will Smith's son. And no, I'm not. Jaden Smith is not in the movie.
Not this
Will
one.
Smith, the character's son, Armando. Now, if you haven't seen the other Bad Boys,
Like me.
like us, you don't know who Armando is. Apparently, they kept calling his ex-wife a witch, and I couldn't tell if they were being literal, like she was literally a witch.
Yeah.
Like she was like into like voodoo or something. They called it her enough times where I was like started to think that. But then I'm like, I think they're just afraid to call a woman a bitch.
Maybe.
Because, the PG movie, whatever. Not that this movie's PG, but you know what I'm saying. PC more like. PC movie. But yeah, anyways, my point is that apparently Will Smith had a wife before and he had a child with that wife, but then that wife turned out to be a criminal, so he had to arrest her. And then she had this baby in prison, and then he grew up and he became both a drug dealer and an assassin, and he was working with the cartel, and he killed their former boss, the police chief, police captain, or whatever. So that is why he is in like a maximum security prison.
He's in one of the Joker cells.
He's in one of the Joker. I'm the Joker, baby.
His own singular little cell in the middle of the station.
Yeah,
One of
as
those.
if he's just the most dangerous fucking criminal of all time, which they kind of treat him like he is in a way.
Yeah. He's
now-
also a hunk. A good-looking guy.
He is a good-looking guy,
The whole time I was like, this guy's hot.
which comes into play.
Which does come into play.
But I will say, it was very weird to me that he was just like, "That's my son. That's my son. Keep my son's name out your fucking mouth." Yes, we will be doing that for the rest of the episode. Get used to it. But yeah, I was just like, what relationship did they have, if any, before he killed his police captain and got arrested? Like, what was he like? I don't know. It was just a weird thing for me that he was just like, "That's my son. I love him. I care about him a lot." I'm like, you said that he was born in a prison and he grew up with the cartel. Like, were you even around his entire life? What is y'all's relationship at all? I don't know. But Armando can identify the person who put the hit on the police captain. So these guys want to kill the main characters, and the main characters end up getting framed into thinking that they released Armando. So then Armando and the main characters and the only people that they trust in the police department have to get together and set up a trap to expose the bad guys. The bad guys end up kidnapping Will Smith's wife and the granddaughter of the police captain, which the reason why she's there is hilarious. You guys can't wait to tell you. And then they have to go on a secret mission to kill all of the bad guys who are all also cops who are also in the, dealing with the cartel, in order to save his wife and the police captain's granddaughter, while everyone thinks that they are criminals. And they can't trust anybody because the police captain said everyone's dirty.
Everyone's dirty.
Except for these two people who I don't know who they are. And it's just this white guy and Vanessa Hudgens. And listen, I don't know who they are. I didn't watch the other Bad Boys. Those are the only two characters in the movie where it is not explained who they are or why they are implicitly trusted by these two people.
Correct.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah, well, Vanessa Hudgens was in the original. she was like 2.
I'm about to say, I don't know about that
She was
one.
like 2 with a fucking headset on. We got a couple guys left. You got to watch out.
Got a couple guys.
Doing surveillance.
Couple guys left. Couple guys left. She's still doing High School Musical.
Get the best of both worlds. High School Musical. Which is Hannah Montana, by the way. Not,
That's Hannah Montana. Fuck.
I was trying to do that bit. That's why I said High School Musical. Anyways.
I didn't even know. So then they kill all the bad guys. They win. Good guys win. Bad guys lose. Okay. So much of this movie is hacking. Looking at this. Look at that. Oh, okay. How do we get this information? Well, I'm going to download the mainframe, the interconnectal databases, and then the databases are going to interlink. You know what? If the hacker man in this movie had just said this. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. If the hacking man, the hacker man, if he just went, oh yeah, this is Chat GPT. It would have been better. If he'd been like, yeah, so what we're going to do is just put this in AI.
Yeah, right. You would have been like, oh, because it's modern day.
Okay, when Will Smith says drip, I actually rolled my eyes into the back of my head. Thanks for the drip. Oh, because Will Smith is up at the fucking time, bro. Will Smith.
This Scientologist is cool.
This guy's not over 50.
So what are some of the things that you liked, that you appreciated about this very run-of-the-mill standard action movie in which we just explained the entire plot, so you know that it's a standard run-of-the-mill action movie, plot-wise?
Yes. One of the things, like when we talk about that the action was actually not bad, I do agree with that. I think the gun violence was cool. You know, it wasn't like John Wick level of, reality or whatever. But I did think that was cool. I like that they kind of added this element of Martin Lawrence's character where, although that weird opening sequence was very weird, I kind of liked that element of the story where he believes that he cannot die. And it allows him to be courageous and to go out there because in a way he kind of progresses the plot. He kind of moves the scenes forward because doesn't think he can die. So he just goes and, goes guns blazing into everything.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. I will say that I think that Armando was a cool character.
I agree.
He was really badass.
I liked his fight scene in the prison yard.
Yeah, the prison yard fight scene, the prison fight scene yard,
if you will, as a scholar,
Semina, ever heard? Yeah, like that scene was really badass. That was probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie, even though, because here's the thing, it is badass action. And it actually is contextualized, like in the movie. You know what I mean? Like it's not just action for action's sake.
Yeah.
He actually is. They're trying to show that they're trying to kill him because he has the information to take them down. So then it initiates them having to transport him, and because they transport him, they get framed for releasing him because whatever. So it's just like it actually does. I was pleasantly surprised by how often they were able to find natural ways to progress the plot, instead of just like weird bullshit like other action movies do.
Yeah.
It's like, and there wasn't as much, like, not saying there's none of this, but there wasn't as much look at the camera and go, well, this, and this, and then that's why.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was kind of nice to see some of that in this movie, which is, okay, yeah, obviously the bad guys are going to go do the bad thing, and we don't have to look at the camera and go, well, we're doing this because we're bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, whatever. So that was cool. I also really loved the sequence of Martin Lawrence's son protecting his family, because that's one of the things they bring up in the beginning of the movie. It's actually in the trailer too, where he's like, you need to get a job. And he's like, I'm a U.S. Marine. And he's like, then you need to deploy. And he says, we just got back from Yemen, whatever. And then it's like, okay, he's a Marine. And then so when
he's holding his bag of Doritos,
get your crunch on.
Front facing camera Doritos, the same brand that Martin Lawrence later grabs because there's just a random bag of Doritos, different flavor, sitting in Vanessa Hudgens' house, that he's like, I'm going to snack on these Doritos while everyone argues.
Well, we know that he does like salty and sweet, because when he's not crunching on the delicious taste of the perfect snacking food Doritos, he is getting a full taste of the rainbow in his Skittles. Taste the rainbow. Anyways, yes, the product placement. Also, the car that they drive has the logo front and center, and there's like 3 of them in the movie. Anyways, the scene that is, this is kind of in the trailer as well. There's a scene in the movie that takes place in an art exhibit. I thought that all the art exhibitions were actually really cool art. And they have probably my favorite joke in the movie is in that scene too, where the jelly beans bowl gets shot at and it's pouring out jelly beans. Which again, you know, this is in the trailer, but this is the part that's funny. So after the heart attack thing, then really like everyone is hardcore on Martin Lawrence, like do not eat any bad food. You're on a strict diet, blah, 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 right? And so he's trying to take every opportunity he can to snack and eat candy at other people's houses. And like when he's like, whatever, you know? And he like, so it's like this really slow motion shot and he's just sticking his tongue out at the jelly beans that are falling in order to catch one. And then he catches a black one. And I'm like, this is bullshit, bro. The black ones suck. And then he chews it and then still in slow motion spits it out back out. And I'm just like, that actually made me laugh. And then he's like, no. And then Will Smith's like, are you okay? Are you shy? He's like, no, I ate a black jelly bean. I was like, okay, I relate to this. I was like, even in that situation, I'm just like, I know I'm getting shot at right now, but the worst thing that's happening to me is I just ate that black jelly bean. Which are licorice flavored. So for all you weird fuckers who like black licorice.
Yeah, so it doesn't taste like exactly like vodka, but it's like vodka-ish. It's like liquor-ish, you know?
Which one is it that's licorice flavored alcohol?
Jägermeister.
Jägermeister.
I was about to say.
Jägermeister.
Fuck. So when you do it, you get an air horn, and when I do it, I get, oh, brother, this guy stinks.
I'm
Fuck
sorry,
you.
are you on the soundboard?
Fuck you.
Fuck
dude.
you.
Fuck you.
Hey, settle down, okay?
But yeah, that was probably one of my more favorite, especially like physical comedy jokes in the movie.
Yeah, you can ask me what I liked if you want.
All of the girls are hot except for the white ones.
That's actually true. That is true.
And I liked Armando. Like, listen, Armando is the best part of the movie to me. So when you talk about what I liked about the movie, I liked his character. His arc in the movie is very good.
Yeah.
And I was rooting for him to be better and to succeed and to actually get closure with his father and, you know, whatever. So yeah, and he also has some funny lines. He's just way out of pocket, you know. So that is all the stuff that I liked about this movie. Daniel, you want to talk about some of the things you liked about this movie?
I mentioned that I really liked the over the top nature of some of the action. So there's like a part where they fly a plane into a building where the propeller chops the dude up. There's no actual gore, but it's like decently implied and has some blood and, you know, whatever. They have a massive white albino alligator that's kind of a looming threat.
And eats a person.
Yeah, eats a person. So they have just like a ton of explosions in this movie as well. They're not shy with the amount of explosions and firepower. So I enjoyed that part of it. So yeah, a lot of the big action scenes that kind of go over the top and are a little silly, they work. The one I couldn't vibe with was the airplane one, because I was like, you guys would have fallen out of this immediately.
Yeah.
But it was just like I couldn't get over the logic, and I was like, I just started to see that they were on a set. So it was just like, which, you know, there's nothing in this movie. I mean, literally nothing in this movie felt natural. Right. Like the acting is all very stiff. Nothing. It's all just people reading lines. It's really, really.
And when we
bad.
say like we're calling them Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, it's because they feel like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. They do not feel like these two characters and part of this thing.
So it's like but yeah, when they do these over the top action sequences, it works. I think you had a great point, because you're like, yeah, I expected to laugh not at all, and I laughed 3 times, so pleasantly surprised. Agreed. I laughed probably more than you did at this movie, but I think that it is a ratio issue. It's like
number of jokes to which that's the thing is like when I was talking about my least favorite action movies, like I talked about Central Intelligence, and like one of my biggest issues with that movie was they were trying to do comedy and action, and the comedy didn't land and the action didn't land. And so like for a movie like this is that kind of style. This is action comedy, right? And I think that the comedy in this is not very great. At least the action is really good. And the comedy is not like grown and drone, and these like, it's not like these guys aren't comedic actors. Like these guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was watching The Rock trying to be as comedic of an actor as Kevin Hart is, it was weird and uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's not that bad, but yeah, there at the same time, you're right. The number of jokes that they're telling versus how many times I actually laughed, that was the problem.
Yeah, it's just the ratio issue. But the ones that landed did land. I mean, the very ending scene is really funny. Like they saved the best for last for sure. And so there's like this weird thing where I don't know how to feel about the fact that this movie feels like it has absolutely no personality. At the same time, it feels like it has a very distinct personality. It's like hard to explain because there's just so much of this movie where it might as well be wallpaper. I mean, it's just whatever. And then there's other parts of the movie where I'm like, this is really odd and weirdly filmed. And I don't remember the last time I saw a movie that looked like this, maybe since 2002. Like, it's just like, so it's like really singular while also being nothing and just void of anything. So it's just very interesting. What are some things you don't like about it?
I mean, yeah, the consistency thing in terms of the filmmaking was a big problem for me. Just like how different everything felt kind of ruined the flow. And it's like, again, when you know, if your goal is to turn your brain off, why are we having these weirdly artistic and insanely filmed action sequences and weird, like, deep meaning philosophical death sequences and like all this stuff? Like, why are we doing that for a popcorn flick? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That stuff, like, it's not that it was bad. Like, that's the problem, is it wasn't bad. That's what made me upset about it. I'm like, this does not fit into this movie. Like, and like one of the things they did, like towards the end of the movie, they have this sequence where they go into first person. There's like 2 first person shots in the whole movie. And it's
like video game gun and frame first person.
Yes. And so like, and I've talked about this before, like you guys know my opinion on this. First person is fine if it is a motif of your movie. If it is something you do, then do it. But if it's just random in the movie, then I don't like it.
Hardcore Henry.
You mentioned Hardcore. This felt like just a weird scene out of Hardcore Henry.
Yeah.
Which, if you remember, I had to walk out of that movie.
I do remember.
I was about to throw up.
Yeah, it was motion sickness.
And I was so excited for the movie, and I got really sick during it. Anyways,
it's funny though. So stuff like that, you're like, dude, why has no one ever done this? And then you're like, oh, that's why.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, and even Hardcore Henry didn't have a good plot either, which made it even more boring. Anyways.
How many times have you said anyways on this podcast?
Dude, this is Tangent City. Guys, this is a blockbuster movie on a Friday night. This is late recording.
Friday.
Okay, we are getting on tangents. We are getting back on track. We have been gressing a lot.
Let's digress.
The scene where they go into first person like Hardcore Henry was a cool sequence. At first I was like, what the fuck is this? And then there's a point where Martin Lawrence says like, I'm out, I need a gun. And then you realize, oh, we're not in first person. We are tracking a third person perspective of the gun.
Yeah.
Because he throws the gun and the camera stays on the gun. And then he goes and he catches it and he shoots him. I was like, okay, that's cool. But at the same time,
what is happening?
I don't understand why they're doing this. And then they just don't do first person for the rest of the movie. The moments where the bad guys are doing I'm going to shoot. Oh, if you do step one more time thing, I'm going to shoot you. That was really lame. There's even like the whole ending was that. The climax of the movie was the bad guy like, I'm going to shoot one of your 2 people that you care about, and you're going to have to choose. Is it going to be your wife or your partner? And then Will Smith goes, well, you don't know. One of them can't die, because the Martin Lawrence can't die thing. Anyway, shoots him in the gut, ends up shooting the guy, and I'm just like, I would have been like, I was just kill all 3 of them. What are you doing? Your goal is to get away. These 3 people can fucking...
That's why, yeah, the entire third act, I was like, their plan immediately goes to shit once they find Armando underneath the deck. So now it's like, oh shit, we're not going to be able to get these guys out of the country, these hostages. At that moment, you need to kill everyone.
Yes.
But they're like, but for some reason, they're still holding hostages. For some reason, they're not shooting Martin Lawrence right as they find him, even though their entire goal this entire time has been to kill Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Again, even on the plane, they can't shoot him on the... I mean, it's just like...
Yeah, so the
ridiculous plot armor bullshit.
Logic bullshit of this movie is so egregious. And one of the things of like, okay, so like for instance, let's talk about this plane scene for just a second, because I'm sure you want to talk about the physics of this. I mean, obviously it's insane that but here's the thing that's stupid about this. They're like, here's our plan. We're going to force the pilot to record a message to, traffic or air traffic control saying that the two bad boys have hijacked the plane in order to free Armando. And then the plane goes down and those 3 people survive. And you're like, fuck our plan. I'm like, wait, your plan was for them to die? Who was going to believe? Like, if the plane crashes and they're both dead and they're fucking, with their seatbelts still on, they're like, oh, let's just brace for impact and like not try to save anyone. Let's just, whatever. And then they die. They both break their necks and they die. Like, your plan works out really well. They're going to go, wait, they killed the pilot and then just crashed the helicopter and died?
Yeah.
That was your plan?
Yeah.
To convince everyone that they took over the helicopter in order to free Armando, but then everyone died that doesn't make any fucking sense. Your plan should have been for them to live.
And the speaking of logic in the scene, the way that the pilot delivers his message.
Yeah,
hey,
bro,
we have 2 bad guys who are hijacked the plane, so we're going down. Code red.
So yeah, they play this audio as absolute proof that these are 2 bad guys that just hijacked this plane, and he's like, hello, we are being kidnapped by the Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Mayday, mayday. I'm just like, he's clearly reading a script.
Yeah, he's clearly reading.
Like, and then you guys are like, this is proof.
This is perfect.
This is exactly what we need to nail these fuckers, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no. And then, so to your point, when the plan goes to shit with them trying to rescue the hostages, why are they holding hostages? Well, these 4 people, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence and their 2 friends, the Vanessa Hudgens and the white guy. Mm-hmm. And when I say the white guy, I mean he's like the only white guy who's a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Every other white guy in this movie is a bad guy.
That's true. Even the guy who robs the liquor store at the beginning
is white. Yeah.
Or not liquor, whatever. The gas station. Yeah.
Gas station.
Liquor.
That one is a deserving air horn.
Thank you. Fuck.
Anyways, so I know. Anyways is the catchphrase of the night. These guys have information on the bad guys to prove that they framed the captain and they are within the cartel and within the police force still, and everyone who is involved with them and what they've done. They have all of this evidence. So the bad guys are like, okay, well, we're going to kidnap Will Smith's, wife. And then, of course, the police captain's granddaughter's there. Why? Because she just randomly decided to go to Will Smith's house at like fucking 10 p.m. to be like, there's no way that what they're saying is true about them.
Not Uncle Mike.
Not a phone call. Not I actually believe, not a Facebook post, a free Mike. No, none of that. I have to go to their house to tell them I don't believe what they said about my grandfather 2 weeks ago on the news.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what?
Yeah, it's really
just so that they can go, we got a boat.
Yeah, convenient.
It's so stupid. But like, it was so here's the thing. It was so random that she was there that me and Daniel both thought she was going to be a bad guy.
Oh, when she first showed up, yeah, we were like, "Oh, don't trust this bitch." Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she's here to get you. Like that's how weird and out of.
Yeah, we were like, "Oh, she's here to like do a sting operation or some shit on Will Smith's wife."
But anyways,
whose name you need to keep out of your fucking mouth.
I know you guys are like, why don't y'all just say his wife's name? There's a reason.
There's a reason.
We know the consequences. Okay, we've seen it.
I will not be saying Will Smith's wife's name.
So what Daniel's saying here is, once they realize that all of these people are here to save the hostages, and they have all the evidence to put them away, and at the same time the rest of the police force still believes that these are the bad guys, you just fucking kill them.
You kill them immediately.
And you go, hey, we found them.
Yeah.
His wife wasn't kidnapped. They were trying to escape.
Yeah.
They had a plane.
Yeah, look at the plane they had. They were trying to get out of it.
It's so obvious, right?
It makes no sense. No sense. It makes no sense.
So I'm just like, okay, and then but they do the I'm gonna
I swear to God, I'm gonna get you.
and then I think one of the worst scenes in the movie is when the how do I explain this, people? There is a woman who is I think the new captain. It seems like again, don't know which movie she's from. Probably the last one, but. Her and her boyfriend are both powerful members of the police
world of some faction of some division.
He is a politician and she is like a higher ranking member in the police force. Okay. They realize that he is a rat, that he's a bad guy. Okay. So they tell her, hey, your boyfriend is a bad guy. So she confronts him by stealing his phone. And he doesn't even know that she knows that he's a rat. And she steals his phone. And he just immediately starts beating the fuck out of her.
He starts fist fighting her in an elevator.
And I mean, he beats the
He throws an elbow as his first strike.
He punches her in the face. He kicks her in the leg, throws her against the wall of the elevator, wraps something around her fucking neck, and starts choking her. His plan is to choke her to death. And just before he can choke her to death, the elevator gets to where it's supposed to be, and two other people rescue her.
Yeah, white guy and Vanessa Hudgens.
A scene later, she's
Troy
like,
and Gabrielle.
They are having a conversation, and she's like, "Did any of that mean anything to you?"
Yeah, she's like, "Was any of it real?"
And he's like, he's like, "Of course it was.
Of course it was."
But it wasn't about that. I'm like, y'all are having this like, okay, it's revealed at the end of the scene that she's just trying to get enough of his voice for them to do a deep fake in order to trick the guys, which honestly, that was probably the most realistic fake science of the whole movie, was them just deep faking somebody's voice. They are sitting there having this conversation, and the whole time I'm just like, weren't you gonna act like he wasn't just choking you to fucking death?
He just tried to assassinate.
He just tried to fucking kill you. He beat the fucking piss out of you.
He beat your ass, and you're like, was any of it real?
And he's like, of course,
babe. Yeah.
We can be better.
Yeah, before it gets revealed, I was looking at Dave. I was like, what the fuck? I was looking behind me at the other people in the theater like, are we all just going to pretend like he didn't just beat her ass, and now they're talking about, can we get back together?
Yeah. We also have one of the things, I think this is just a funny trope in action movies. The daughter of the police captain.
Daughter? No air horn? God damn, man. This is ridiculous. This is unfair. I call for trial.
You sure about that?
I call for trial. I will be representing myself. Now I know what you're thinking. You don't need a lawyer? I say, lawyer? I rest my case.
Attorney?
No.
What?
No.
Attorney?
No.
Attorney?
Toblerone.
Toblerone. She has said earlier in the movie that she hates Armando with a passion, and whenever she sees him, she says, she says this unprompted. She walks into a room where people are having a conversation about something completely unrelated.
She's like, Will Smith, I want to kill your fucking son.
she just unprompted just tells Will Smith, I fucking hate Armando, and if I see him on the street, I'm fucking killing him on sight. He's fucking dead. And he was like, okay, so do you want the salad or
Yeah, we're just doing lunch orders, so
I just like the idea that she is providing this information unprompted to everyone in her life. That she's like, yes, can I get a venti caramel macchiato? And also, just so you know, if Armando ever is on the street, I will fucking
kill your son. I will kill your son. No milk. It hurts my tummy. I
will kill you. I will kill him. If I see him on the street, he's dead. By the way, at this point in time, he is in a maximum security prison. Right. She's like, if I ever see him on the street, he's dead. Which dude is serving a life sentence.
You won't.
Yeah. Dude is arrested for killing a police captain, and you think you're just gonna see him on the street one day. Anyways, she does see him on the street, and She tries to kill him, but he at this point has had an arc. So when I said that Armando has a good arc, he does start to kind of get some closure with his father, and he starts to do better and actually defeat the bad guys and take out people who are dirty and working with the cartel. He ends up getting really hurt while defending the police captain's granddaughter, and he saves her life, and so she prevents her mom from killing him. And then she goes, "Get out of here before I change my mind." And I'm like, you are still a police officer allowing a fucking wildly dangerous fugitive just go.
Yeah.
I'm not saying shoot him in the head, but I'm saying he probably should go back to prison.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those cliche tropes, Get out of here before I change my mind. It's like such an overused line.
Whoa, what the? I changed my mind. How come that never happened? How come
fast enough?
How come they're never too slow? Get out of here before I change my mind. You know what's too late. I already changed my mind. How come that never happens? Can I talk about, for just a moment, while we're talking about the things we didn't like about this movie, can I talk about my least favorite part early on?
Early reveal.
Early reveal, my least favorite part?
Early access.
Tiffany Haddish.
She had what? Air horn, air horn, air horn, air horn. You idiot. You stupid
You really thought you were
God
gonna
damn it, man. Yeah.
Air horn from my sound drop.
Oh,
That was from my sound drop.
fuck you.
Fuck you!
Fuck you.
Now, I will say this right off the top of this little mini review. I don't think Tiffany Haddish is funny. I don't think I've ever found her funny in anything she's ever done. And yeah, that's just how
I cannot agree with you more. She disappeared. I believe she got canceled. Her and Aries Spears got canceled for some kind of predatory claims. And I was like, oh shit, that's real serious. And then the part of my brain that is not healthy said, well, thank God she won't be in anything anymore. Because she was in everything for a second. And I was like, I hate everything she's ever done. She's the worst part of everything I've seen.
Yeah.
So I was shocked to see her in this.
And so when she was in the movie, not only is her character not funny, but also like, I don't know, it's a very weird moment because the whole movie is kind of like PC. It's kind of PG in a way, other than the violence, obviously. But like, no one's saying anything aggressive. No one's being, whatever. But this scene, this was what was my expectation. It is clear that she has like a crush on Will Smith, right? So they're like, hey, we need help. We need clothes. We need guns. We need money. We need we need a car. And she's like, I have all those things, but what are you going to do for me? And like, it's implied that she's going to elicit sex from him. And this is I thought it was going to go like this. Well, what are you going to do for me? What do you want? You know what I want. And he's like, I'm married. And she's like, I don't care. It is that. But in the middle of that, she goes, I want you to eat my pussy.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. I didn't think she was actually going to say that.
Yeah.
I thought it was all going to be implied. You know what I want. Well, I don't do that anymore. I'm married. I want you to eat my pussy.
Baby back, bitch.
And we were all laughing our heads off in the theater, by the way. Eat my pussy.
Keep my wife's mouth out your fucking name.
She's like, eat my pussy. And we all went,
Honestly, yeah.
but yeah, it was just like, it was so abrasive. And I was just like, Jesus, man, what is wrong with this? And yeah, then it's just revealed that, by the way, they have, here's another plot point here that is not explained. Hey, these guys, they're on the run. They're bad guys. They've been working with the cartel. They released this fugitive, and they are bad people, and they're bad guys, and we need to hunt them down. I don't know why, but just so you know, all of the actual bad guys have been offered $5 million to kill them. There's no way that this is connected at all. Like the police didn't realize that like these guys are saying this guy's innocent and he's being framed and there's actual bad people out there and they're like, we don't believe you. You guys are the bad guys. And like, hey, all the bad guys that we're talking about just got offered $5 million to kill us because we have information on that. And they're like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, like the bounty shit.
Yeah. I'm just like, that it doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, there's a shot of a guy sucking his teeth so aggressively. That was awful.
That'll do.
You doing that right now is people have just turned the podcast off. Natalia, I'm looking at you. I want to mention some stuff too. Can I talk too?
All right, Daniel, what did you not like about this movie?
Nothing. I thought it was perfect. And thank you guys so much for listening to the review.
10 Bad Boys. Can't wait for Bad Boys Infinity.
Infinity War. Bad Boys.
Bad Boys Endgame.
What is it? Some kind of end game or something? One of the things, a trope that I hate in movies that was in this one was every single screen that is showing footage is Arya level camera quality. Like nothing that looks like it's actually being filmed on an iPhone. Like when they're on FaceTime, it's like the clearest quality. When you see them watch a video on their phone, it is again just professional film. The ring camera, the security footage of the house is just
it's not drone.
I hate it.
Heat signature footage. It is 10K.
Yeah, I hate it. I just hate that as a trope. The cameos in this movie are fucking obnoxious. The worst people. The worst people. DJ Khaled is in this fucking movie.
He reprises his role in this movie. Tiffany Haddish, we already brought up. Michael Bay has a cameo that's just out of nowhere.
The TikTok kid?
The TikTok guy who does the things that are obvious and then shrugs.
I was like, brother, you are 4 years late. You are 4 years late putting that guy in this movie. Like it's 2024. What the hell? That was a long time ago when that was popping off. Right. Just really odd to me.
I was really like when I saw him, I was like, "Where's the why the fuck you lying guy?"
Why the fuck you lying?
Like where's he at?
Oh my god! Stop fucking lying. Yeah, obviously, just the way that the movie was filmed, again, it gave me, it was a little too much. It was a little too much, the amount of camera movement. There were some shots where they would be like running away from something, and it was clear that the camera operator was sprinting with them, and just the camera was going up and down with and the one thing that really did drive me crazy is what I already mentioned, the amount of just circles that they were doing around the subjects. They did it during his speech. They did it during him dancing before he has a heart attack. They did it when they show up to the family home after he's healthy and they hug everybody. They do a circle shot around, just a rotating. And I'm like, I'm getting fucking dizzy. Stop fucking doing this. Stop. Unacceptable! I hate it. I hate it. What is this music video ass fucking cinematography?
Video, I think is a great way to put it.
What the hell, man? The amount of Dutch angle shots, it was so tacky. This movie is tacky.
I think the Dutch angles is one of the things that when you mentioned that this movie looks like a 2002 movie shot on 8K, whatever cameras. It's like, yeah, those types of angles with the lens flares in the background and the fucking city skyline and the wind blowing in their shirts because neither of them has hair. And just like, yeah, like this look like it's just, incredible quality visual, but with techniques used from the 2000s.
Yeah, trash, dog shit. And, if you guys have seen the trailer for this movie, then that means you were worried about watching it as we are, because the trailer has just all the worst jokes. And in the end of the trailer is the Reba scene. And I remember when, as soon as they are running away out of the forest and then they come across like a trailer park type of area, David said, "Oh shit, I was hoping this wouldn't actually be in the movie." And then the whole scene plays out just as it does in the trailer.
Yep.
And then the scene moves on. And I was like, oh my God, what a swing and a miss. Like that was brutal to sit through.
Yeah.
It's just not a single chuckle out of that scene. So bad.
It is literally one of the least funny things I've ever seen them really, really commit to. And they don't even mention, like, they want the clothes that they steal, they stay in for the next like 2 or 3 scenes. And so maybe it's like, oh, well, maybe they were like, oh, fuck, well, we have to keep it because of that. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't have even cared. I would have just been like, yep, he's wearing a Reaper shirt now.
Yep.
And I'm glad. I don't know why.
Yeah. So
That's when I need Will Smith to come out of one of his other movies. And he come out of Men in Black and erase my memory of this fucking Reba scene.
honestly,
If you don't know what we're talking about, go watch the trailer. It literally what you see in the trailer is what is in the movie.
it's on her mixtape. Hold for applause, hold for standing ovation, laughter. Yeah, so it just look, like I said, it's a really bad movie. But that's why we mentioned the stuff we liked because yeah, the action is actually not bad. And all in all, it was a fun watch on a Friday night after a long work week. It was a fun watch in that context. I would never watch this again. Dave, you already talked about your least favorite scene.
Yeah.
What is your favorite scene? What's your favorite moment? Or is there anything else you wanted to cover before we dipped?
No. I think that's a good time to wrap it up. We pretty much talked about the entire movie because if you guys remember at the beginning, I said a lot of the movie is just hacking data frame databases. That's how they get from point A to point B. And
That's why I said it felt like a TV episode. Like it just felt like an episode of NCIS at points. I was like, what is this? Whatever.
My favorite scene, I think, actually is the Armando prison fight scene. It was just the anticipation was really cool. The choreography was really good. It was one of the more brutal moments of the movie where it actually felt like gritty and real, you know, like
Yeah.
whatever, instead of like a popcorn type thing. Because a lot of the rest of the movie, the action is bing, bing, bang, bang, boom, boom, bang, bang, gunshot, gunshot, gunshot. Someone falls.
Yeah.
You know, and like this was like actually just, you know, hitting in the face, grabbing a knife and stabbing a guy in the fucking eye.
Yeah, choreography
You know?
was pretty well done as well, and cool little front flip off the wall move he does was cool.
Yeah, and I think it was also a good way to introduce this character. Like we now know, okay, this guy is not to be fucked with.
He's a badass. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that. And just in general, like I said, that character, I mean, his arc was the only like redeemable part of the plot of the movie. So, but yeah,
Armando is our man, though.
are we assuming that the Reba scene is your least favorite scene, or do you have a whole different favorite part of the movie, least favorite part of the movie?
No, I would say the Reba scene was my least favorite because I think it has to be my least favorite because I knew it was coming. So I was like, oh no. And then I sat through it and was like, wow, they really, okay, yeah, it's just what it was in the trailer. This was ass. So it was really disappointing. I think if it wasn't in the trailer, it wouldn't be as egregious, if that makes sense. But yes, my favorite scene is the final scene because it is actually good comedy. But the scene that would have been my favorite scene if they hadn't fucked it up is when is also including the son of Martin Lawrence, when he kills everybody in the house. I thought that was badass, but I hated that he would kill someone and then they would cut to Martin Lawrence and Will Smith going, ooh, and then he would kill someone else and then they would cut back to them again and they go, ooh, and I'm like, got it, we got it. And then he kills someone else and they cut back to them and they go, damn, and then he kills someone else and they cut back to them and they're like, oh shit. I'm like, oh my fucking God, stop cutting back and forth.
Yeah.
Stop.
If they didn't cut back to them, that scene would have been the best scene in the movie.
Exactly.
Which we kind of
They
started
fucked it
talking
up.
about it and then we got obsessed about Doritos. But yeah, I mean, that scene is really badass. I mean, him like, you know, he gets the call from Martin Lawrence and he's like, hey, you know, you need to protect the family right now. There's people coming your way. And he gets them in the closet. He he opens his gun safe the right way, you know, like he has like hands on both, whatever. And he gets his gun and then like, yeah, just the way that he kills them is really bad. This is the closest thing to like John Wick that we have in the whole movie.
It is.
It's like this guy is like the fucking trained, you know, it's like these two guys, these are police officers and they just blindly fire and then whatever.
Yeah.
This guy is a fucking Marine. Like he is, you know, whatever. So, yeah, he just goes fucking crazy on these guys and it was really badass. But I do agree to that. Anytime they cut back to them, I was just like, I don't care about their reaction. Two, we know they're watching it. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So that was disappointing. They botched that scene. They fucked it up. But yeah, that's why the final scene is my favorite scene, because it's the one that works on all levels the most, which is just a comedy scene of Martin Lawrence and Will Smith gatekeeping the grill to the Marine who killed all those people. And they tell him no, fuck off. And
he asks if he can grill his chicken on the grill, and they're both old heads, So they're like, nah, this is our thing. Get out of here, punk.
Yeah, and they tell him fuck off. He stands there and does not fuck off and looks at them with this soulless, crazy eyes of like scarily. And they kind of are like, is he still behind us? And he's like, yeah, he is. And he's like, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going to let him cook the fucking chicken. He killed 14 fucking people. And then
in the house.
Yeah. And then Will Smith kind of looks back and he's like, yeah, I don't like the way he's looking at me right now. I'm going to go set the table. And they just like dip. And it was legitimately funny.
Yeah.
Because
they also do they do the callback too, because they have Martin Lawrence originally tells Will Smith he can't cook. He's like, how about you go make some potato salad and set the table? And he's like, oh, excuse me. And then when they're like, so what are you going to do? Because he's like staring at them, he goes, I'm going to go make potato salad. And then Martin's like, I'm going to set the table. So, yeah. This is a very sitcom-esque joke. And it did land. Totally landed. Really good comedy. Great scene. So, that's Bad Boys Ride or Die. I'm going to go die.
I'm going to go die. Is what you just said. I'm going to go die.
Well, you were asking about my rating for this movie, right? That's what we were getting to?
Yeah, what do you...
My rating of Bad Boys Ride or Die is die.
Is die.
No. My actual score for this movie, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10 as a movie. There you go. As an action movie, maybe a 5 out of 10. Like right dead center. Wouldn't be the best action movie I've ever seen. Wouldn't be the worst.
Interesting you say that, because I have almost the exact same thing that I was going to say. And I've had this in my head since we left the theater. This is a 2 out of 10 as a movie. It is awful trash. It is, for me, a 4 out of 10 as an action movie. It is not great, but it's not bad.
If you are looking for a movie to just, again, turn your brain off, a little popcorn flick, and you get some time, sure, it's not a bad one. Here's one of the things I think is funny or interesting. When we were looking at the show times for this movie, we couldn't get one at the theater that is closer to where we record, which is the one we prefer because it's closer to where we record. Because all of the show times are either sold out or the only one available was completely packed. So we had to get 2 tickets at the IMAX theater at the other theater, and we were nervous because when we booked the tickets, no one else was in there, and there's 1,000 seats in this theater.
Massive theater.
And then we got there, and no one had bought any of those tickets that we saw.
It was 4 people other than us.
It was kind of funny to see this movie and just this is opening weekend. Nobody's in the seats.
Yes, and we got a showtime right as we're leaving work. So
yeah, it's not like a bad showtime for a Friday.
Exactly. That's why I think people that are close to where we record don't have a fucking job, because sold out. I'm like, really? At 5 p.m.? But where we went, people are still working. So that's my theory.
And for this episode, we will not be doing a part 2. This is partially because me and Daniel did already look some stuff up about the movie, and we were able to anticipate that there wouldn't be much of a part 2 to do.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of discourse about this movie yet. Obviously, once people know Wild Dream is doing it, it's going to blow up and it'll be a thing. So go to the threads, afterwards. But yeah, one of the only things that we really wanted to mention was that we kind of found out that most of these characters and most of this, the references to plots here is related to the 2020 Bad Boys, which we didn't know that was the gap, that we didn't know that 2020 was Bad Boys 3.
Yeah, I don't remember there being a third one made.
But yeah, when we said you don't have to watch any of the other Bad Boys to know what's going on, that is still true. But if you did want to, I think you could get away with just watching Bad Boys for Life,
I think it was called.
Yeah, from 2020. That movie has all of the characters that we didn't recognize in
DJ Khaled was in that one.
DJ Khaled. Why'd you say it like that? DJ Khaled. Fuck you. It's not as easy as it looks.
This guy stinks.
Unacceptable!
I'll take it.
He said acceptable. So yeah, that movie explains everything, and it is weird to think about the fact that the first two came out 20 years before the third one, and so this one feels more like I guess based on what we were reading, like because this character, like the whole plot is just centered around the immediate events of that, Bad Boys Forever. It feels like this is more of a sequel to Bad Boys Forever than it is
For life, dude.
Fuck,
Show some
sorry.
respect. Are you even a bad boy, bro?
Not for life, apparently.
Temporarily.
Not forever. This feels more like a sequel to Bad Boys for Life than it is Bad Boys 4. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But that's all that we had for you guys. I hope you guys liked the first installment of the Blockbuster series.
And if you didn't tell us to just cancel and not do this shit anymore. Just tell us.
Please, yeah, we will. We won't.
Fine, we'll find something
do
else.
A24 movies every single week.
Well,
Apparently, that's what you guys fucking love, and that's
Yeah.
all you want from us. But yeah, otherwise, you guys can get involved in the conversation. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Let us know what you thought of the movie if you went to go see it. You can reach us at Wild Dream Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Until next time, we love you. We kiss you. Good night.